Hey, hey, hey. It is your girl, your sister, your friend, your auntie, Erica Brown. I'm here today with Soulful Revelations, and I have some road dogs here with me tonight talking about girls' trips. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Miss Sharice.
Hello, Sharice Young.
All right. And Miss Lakeisha.
Hello, my name is Lakeisha Cunningham.
All right. So people don't know this about these two people. These are they're my favorite people sometimes, and then other times they're
Mm,
not my favorite people.
touche.
That's a true statement.
We can say the same.
Right.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about girls' trips tonight. We're going to talk about this phenomenal time that we had in Atlanta. We were celebrating Mrs. Sharice's 50th birthday, the milestone of the Big 50. So,
Right.
first of all, Miss Young, I'm sorry, Mrs. Let my mama correct you, Mrs. Young. How does it feel with the milestone of the Big 50?
The same it did when I was 49.
You got to be ignorant all the time, don't you?
Hmm. You'll see when you get there.
It's a little different. It's a
It's as
little.
long. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel any different.
Okay. Milestone. Well, we Keisha and I, we're creeping up on the come up on that one right there. So we're not quite there. We ain't gonna call you our elder just yet.
Y'all can't.
You are, you both are my elders, and I
What
respect
else?
both of you.
Listen, that's what Keisha called me, her elder. We are
Look,
19 days older than her. 19 days. Not years, days. All
listen,
right.
but
Older,
I don't look like my age though.
Come on now. Come on now.
that's right. That's
Yes.
right. That's
Yes.
what
Black
it's
don't
about.
crack. Yeah, it don't crack. Black don't crack.
Yeah.
So our trip to Atlanta. Hey, ladies, if whoever's listening out there, ladies, I think sometimes girls' trips get a bad rap sometimes. And it's not sometimes it's not always positive. And I've seen people to say that, hey, their girls' trip was like not a positive experience. I've been on one of those that had not been a positive experience. However, this one was a very positive experience. And if anyone doesn't know, when people are always asking me, Erica, you always travel, who you go with? Lakeisha. So Lakeisha is the person that I'm traveling with, and we meet each other all over the world. Like it's not like okay, girl, I'm gonna meet you at your house, and we're going to no. We meeting in France. We meeting in Costa Rica. We meeting in somewhere. Hey, wherever you are, we're gonna meet up there, and that's how we do it. And Sharice has actually traveled with us outside of her birthday just as well. But we're going to talk about this Atlanta trip first. So, some of the things that people were asking me about, like, how did you all come up with the whole color scheme of the clothing that we were wearing for the birthday? Miss Sharice?
So the colors that we had was colors that I wear, that I like to wear in summertime. So um that's how I chose those colors. I mean, it was my birthday, so I chose the colors that I frequently wear
All right.
and that I feel that all of us would have looked good in. Because my sister said, "You sure we gonna look crazy in lime green at nighttime?" When we went and we wore the lime green, it was about four other girls in that place with lime green on. And I said to the girl, I said, "Where you from?" She said, "I'm from Florida." I said, "See, that's what we do."
Now, I know this was very different for Lakeisha. So Keisha she's definitely Philly born and bred. So how was this experience with all this color coordination for you, Lakeisha?
So it was very different for me because I felt like your sister. I was like, lime green. We gonna look like big, neon bright lights or something. So it was very different for me. But I would say even outside of the lime green, it was, we don't dress up the way you all dress up.
Mhm.
So when I packed like, oh, we're going to the spa, so I'm gonna throw in a t-shirt and some tights, and we're going to taco place, so I had some, a little t-shirt dress. And y'all came stepping out like y'all was going out. I was like, I am so underdressed. I have never felt so underdressed in my life. The only time I felt like I was dressed appropriately was at the brunch. Sunday, I think I did a good job.
Okay.
But
Okay.
every day, other day, I was like, so I'm borrowing clothes and trying to fit in,
Oh,
which was
man.
that was different for me, but it was a learning lesson because I'm used to how we dress up here. We dress up,
Yeah.
but it's just not to the extent that y'all be dressing.
Yeah.
It wasn't to that
Oh,
extent.
listen, it's so funny because if you would have seen the look on her face, like, dang, Erica, I was like, I told you Fashion Week. I was like, I said, bring out the Fashion Week because that's what it's gonna be. But
Right.
when she said she's still thinking very, very casual, and that's in all honesty, that's just literally regionally how you think differently. Sometimes you don't. You're thinking, and I was having this conversation with a young lady who I work with that's from New York, and she was like, "Y'all wear so bright colors, like we wear browns and blues, and like that's it. When you see someone with a bright color, you know they're not from New York." And I was like, "Really?" She was like, "That's just not how we dress. Like it be too bright. Like, you gotta tone it down or something." Like, she real New York too. Like she real New York too. So it's one of those things that it's just kind of where who you are and where you've come from, and it just makes a difference with that. But we made it work. Like she
Right.
was a good sport about it. She really was. Lakeisha, she was a good sport about it, and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna make it work." So we made it work, and everyone looked really nice. I must admit, we all looked
Yeah.
really nice. So what about the choosing of the actual events that we went to? So we went to, just to let you know, we went to a comedy show. We went to we did a spa day, and we did something called Queen's Tea. So, Sharice, how did you choose those places?
So what I've learned, a lot of people, they don't like to use, like, I don't know what their theory is about TikTok. So I went to TikTok and I looked up Girlz Trips in Atlanta. And then I went from that to Black owned businesses because I wanted us to patronize small business and Black business. And so that's how I find. So every time I would see something, then I send it to you. What you think about this? And so that's how I found most of. And even when I went to those businesses after we did our event with the actual business, I said, listen, I don't know how you guys advertise, but what I will tell you is that I found you on TikTok. Sometimes you can go to Instagram and it may not, it'll show you things, but not like people in the actual moment of what they're doing. So like when we were gonna do another experience and the chef experience, I'm just gonna say what it is because I don't have time to be looking over it. And so when I asked for suggestions for a chef, I got a number, and so I asked the chef, "What is your Can you show me your Instagram? What's your Instagram?" Because she didn't have anything um on TikTok, right? So she sent out the invoice. She got me all excited, sent me the invoice. And I was like, $750 for eggs, bacon, and sausage, and some fruit. No. So then she sent me a picture something. Oh, this is one of the dishes that I'm gonna make. And I said, oh, so she must don't know that I'm the investigator. I went on, the picture that she sent looked like something she got off of TikTok. So I said, no, I'm gonna pass on that experience because I didn't get much of what I was looking for. So when things catch your eye, that's how oh, okay, I'm interested in doing that. And you investigate. I investigated everything that we did based off of Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, yes. We were basically TikTok's university students,
Right,
searching, searching TikTok over and
right,
over and over again, trying to find the best experience possible that we can do.
right,
50 is a milestone. So just,
right,
I mean, literally, this was, y'all saw a couple days of pictures, but this was months in planning ahead of time because it was
right,
a bunch of trial and error. Reaching out to places that we think we have a reservation for, but we realize, hey, they're going to be closed, so we can't do a reservation with them. And then finding other, places that, hey, listen, I don't think this was the best idea right here. Or, it was a mere back and forth. So even though you all saw the pictures and the pictures were great, there is a planning process and it's not always positive. And I know sometimes those types of things will deter people from moving forward into
right,
doing when they realize, hey, well, shoot, we can't get nothing because we were aggravated. This is not what y'all saw was the finished product, that all these things actually worked. But we were like, oh my God, not another one, not another one we can't do, not another one we can't do, this, that, and the third. So how about you all tell them about the comedy show? Lakeisha, how about you tell them about the comedy show that we went to?
Well, so I would say when it was free, I was like, okay, I was expecting amateurs, right? Because it was free, right?
Yes.
But sometimes I have been to comedy shows where there have been amateurs and it was really funny. Like the
Yes.
amateurs were hilarious.
Yes.
We sat there and saw three amateurs basically with no laughter.
right.
None.
Like
The
somebody said,
only person who
like
cracked
somebody said, y'all get in the car with me. I'm gonna take y'all, and y'all gonna perform some jokes.
it was
It's good.
terrible. I
It's
was
good to
like,
hear.
I just wanted to wait just to see was anybody going to be funny? Like, how did they get there? So
Right.
the only person that cracked a half a smile was the
The
MC, the
MC.
person who facilitated it. But we sat there through 3 or 4 amateurs, and it was terrible. We ended up
And
just
did
leaving.
and we did the church lady. We'll see y'all later.
Yes, we went out 2 at a
We were
time.
in there, yes, 20,
2 at a time.
20, 30 minutes. We were out. Listen, I was mad that we paid $20 to valet park
Yeah.
Right.
to go in there and be out in 20 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not always a positive experience, but the key is we made the best of it. We
Right.
cracked jokes, we laughed, we did our own comedy show.
Yeah, we had our
Um,
own comedy show back at the house.
yeah, because we got the clowns, and I think Sharice and I are number one and number two clowns. So then everybody else, go clown. So we gonna have a good time. That's the key. So what about what was the best dinner experience?
I don't know. I liked all of them because that taco place was everything, and the restaurant that we went to for on my actual birthday was very good. So
Okay, good. The Enzo. So Enzo's was a steakhouse that we went to, and then the taco place was uh, Velvet Taco.
yeah.
Velvet Taco was really, really good. What did you think
Hmm.
about Velvet Taco, Keisha?
I thought it was good. It was a little bit of a different twist on the tacos. I thought it was really
Mhm.
good. Um, if I would say my favorite was probably, well, the brunch wasn't dinner, so my favorite
Well, any dinner experience, that's fine. Any food experience, I'm sorry.
the brunch would have been is was my favorite.
Yeah, me
The
Yeah.
too.
Sunday brunch, hands down. Like
Yeah,
I would
Yeah.
definitely go back and definitely experience that again. It was a different twist on brunch where I
Hmm.
didn't have like the all you can eat wasn't me going up to a bar because I'm a little bougie, so I like to be served.
Hmm.
The less work for me, the better.
yeah,
So them bringing all of the food to the table that way, and you could just like eat all you want, and they just kept bringing food and kept bringing food. Now, you bring your inner fat girl out, but it was like phenomenal, and the food was so good. Like
yeah,
Right.
I just wanted to be able to taste everything.
yeah,
So
Right.
I'm paying for it now, but it was great to just be able to taste everything, and everything tastes so good. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
that was the best
yeah,
dinner experience or food experience for me.
yeah. I would
Well,
agree.
I think that so sometimes when you look up brunch, you're gonna have different types of brunch. Like sometimes if you look up brunch in Atlanta, you might see a day party. Now, some of them day parties a little ratchet. This was elegant, it was nice.
Yes.
I've been to some day parties in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and if you don't want to do the hood thing, you better watch you some TikTok videos to find out what's going on in there.
In the ATL,
That's
yes,
true.
yes, 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 absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I know we talked about earlier, Sharice and I, is choosing the group of people to go on the girls' trip. I know I've heard nightmares. I thank God I haven't been to any of those, but I have heard nightmares of people going on trips, especially out of the country, with people that is just horrendous. So, how did you? Because it's important that you choose the right group of people to be together. So,
Most
how did you choose
definitely.
your people to go on this trip to celebrate a milestone? Because some people will make your milestone miserable, and that didn't happen. I'm sorry,
Right.
except for the joke that we played on you. My bad. But
It was miserable for about a half hour.
Yeah.
I'm just listen. We'll come back to the joke in a minute. But except for the joke that we played on her, but how did you choose the people that you put
So
together on the trip?
so I chose the people that one who I know celebrates me, not just on birthdays, right? I chose people um that like things that I like. Like so for me, I'm gonna say what I said to you earlier. You can't mix and mingle your friends. Like if you know that you have this one friend that might slightly look sideways or talk negative about how you move, then you shouldn't take her. When it comes down to, so both of my best friends were there. Um, I chose people that I know that are not going to be jealous of the relationships that I have with y'all. So, like Keisha, I wanted Keisha to come because we've traveled together before, and she loved you. So I know that that was right, and I knew that we could have a good time together. Um, it's certain I've been on girls trips before that made me actually like really miserable, and I did not. I said okay, and did not want. I said that's it. I've done that, so I'm not doing that again. So I just chose. I know that everybody that was on this trip like to have fun. So I know that we were going to have a good time. I knew who to bring and who not to bring. Sometimes like I literally wrote down all y'all names on a piece of paper, and then I was like, oh yeah, this it right here. This is who I want to go. But most importantly, I prayed about it first. I said, Lord, let me choose the right people to go with me because I know that I've been miserable before. So that's how I chose the right people to go with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's awesome. Y'all tell Cliff, hey,
Hey,
that's me,
Cliff.
class.
Hi, Cliff.
Thanks for
Okay.
watching, Cliff. Go ahead. You want to say something, Red?
I was just saying, hey, Cliff, he done click back off. I didn't see him no more.
Oh, okay. But so just that, and that is very important when you all are thinking about who to bring on a trip, what personalities go where. Do I, are these people going to be, mindful of these people? Even, with us, we country, like, country folk, we like bring the game, kind of
Right.
thing. But some people aren't comfortable in that. Sometimes people
Right.
aren't comfortable with your southernness or your slang, or you're not extremely proper. Sometimes it's not comfortable. And Keisha's used to it because she's been in Florida forever.
Right.
Coming to Florida forever, so she's used to it. But you sometimes you have to be mindful of just that. So Keisha, I think this was your first time with being with a group of Southern women outside of your family. So how did you feel about that experience with us?
So, for me, it was normal. It wasn't like a big change for me because first of all, both of my parents were Southern. So I've heard Southern slang all my life, right? And for me, it was more so, okay, how am I going to get along with these women? Because I know you, but I met your sister, so I knew her, knew your daughter, but there were several people that I had never met. And I have been on a girl trip that wasn't that great, not just too long ago. So I'm like, okay, because normally I don't have a problem with mixing in and getting along with people, especially for a couple days. Like, you really got to be doing some crazy stuff for me not to be able to just tolerate you at least for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have that experience. Like, they were very welcoming, they were like open, and they were talking, and it wasn't like, okay, you got the northern exit, so you go sit over there somewhere, because I've seen that too.
Oh yeah.
So it was more of the Southern hospitality is what I
Yes.
experienced.
Yes.
So, that to me was, great. Like, I did not feel any type of thing or any type of way from anyone. And
Yeah.
that was, I felt like I was just one of the girls.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That it when I say that, it's like the most important thing, even outside all the dinners, all the excursions, all the experiences that we had. That's because none of those things are going to mean anything when you're with people who are miserable.
Yes.
Right.
It's not going to mean anything, or
And
even
I
some.
think that sometimes people have a certain level of, like, say, okay, uh, my two best friends, both are there. You may have a group of girls that feel like, well, why she had to share a room, or why I can't have my own room. Like, I've seen this on TV where they have a certain level of what do you call it? Feel like make a certain level of status with a friend, that they feel like, oh, so you invited me on this trip and you gonna put me in a room with your cousin, or you invited me and you gonna put me, why I didn't get my own room. I've had people say, oh, I don't mind going on a girls trip, but let me pay you extra so I can get my own room. So stuff like that. You don't want to be in a situation where you're gonna have that one friend that cause tension. If they don't get along with their family, they're not gonna get along with your friends.
No, they're not at all, not
Yep.
at all. Go ahead. You want to add to that, Keisha?
No, I was saying that's absolutely true. And sometimes, when um you may have people who feel like, because one thing I witnessed is that that's my best friend, that's my other best friend, that's my best friend, that's my other best friend. And sometimes it's not until all your friends get together, they're like, oh, I thought they think they have a certain status. To your point, they think they have a certain status in your life. So they looking like, okay, why she ain't calling me her best friend, or why I'm
Uh-uh.
not the person who, so you
The
sometimes
people
you just
know,
never
baby.
know.
With me, the people know.
I deal with you. That I know. But I'm just saying,
I
like,
remind her of that all the time. And I be like, friend, pipe it
I
down a
don't
little bit. She
but
I
be
don't care nothing
sometimes,
about that.
like you
I
said, when
don't
you
care
mix your
nothing about
friends, no, sometimes like
right.
when you mix your friends though, they may not know, like, that may be the first time they hearing, oh, that's my best friend, that's my other best friend. And they may start feeling some type of way. So it was good that you did not have that. But I have seen that where one person thought they had a certain status in their life and they actually was jealous of this person being the best friend. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
you know,
No, she make it known to everybody. So
yes,
it's
she does.
And what them kids say and do.
And do. Yes.
yes, 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 yes. But that's the
But
good
for
thing because
but the thing is that I have longevity with these women. You know what I'm saying? And it is rare that people have friendships that they can actually say that they have had a friend for over 40 years or over 30 years. That type of stuff. So I say that because people need to know that there is value in friendships, not to throw it up because like you're Erica's cousin. I had one of my cousins, my sister, and one of my friends that I call her my sister friend because that's the relationship. So nobody that was there had no case in point of being jealous because everybody knows who they are to me.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think it comes when people don't know the relationship that they have with you. And then
Right,
like Keisha said, when other people come around, it's more so like, well, wait a minute, then who am I? If that's her this, then who am I to her? But
Yeah.
it, like
but
you said, when that is clarified, if someone else gets jealous, then hey, listen, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. You
leave
know,
her home. You leave her home. That's what you do. You leave her at her house. That's what you do. You leave her home.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
But
Uh,
I've even experienced where people know their place, but they still try to do this hierarchy thing. Well, I've
yeah,
known her
Right,
longer, or
yeah,
I've
right,
done more things with her. Well, did you know about this? And did you know about that? And I'm like, I ain't about to sit here and play 50 questions with you. I just knew her this many years. Who
yeah,
cares?
yeah,
So
right.
I don't get into that, but I've
yeah.
seen people who've done that and who've
You're
tried
right.
that.
I have to.
And but it was good that we didn't see that on this trip. Like I
Yeah,
did not see that from any of the ladies because it could have been your sister. Like, well, I knew her longer. I don't care if you her best friend. You know what I mean? But you
yeah,
didn't
Right,
see that. Everybody
yeah,
knew that where their place was. They knew that they
yes,
had love for you, and it was all
yes,
about you. It wasn't even about
yes.
all the other catty stuff.
No, it was
right.
not. And there was that was this was what amazes me the most is except for the joke that we played, there was no cattiness whatsoever. I mean, everybody, even the people that had never hung out with each other, they got along together
Right.
well.
We
Really
really
well.
got along on that joke though. But
Yeah. We're gonna tell y'all what the joke was in a minute, but I'm gonna get through this. Okay, so you all talk about our Queen's Tea experience.
Keisha, go ahead. You want to say something?
oh no, I was gonna let you go first.
Well,
So
Erica
maybe
was like,
explain what it was first. I'm sorry.
so it is a black-owned business that hosts tea parties, and also they teach tea etiquette. Because we learned some things that, like, I never knew that pointing the pinky out was a disrespect to the queen. So it was an experience because we learned, okay, you can't sip your tea until the queen puts down her napkin in her lap. Like, I wouldn't have never known that if we hadn't been there. But the overall experience, a beautiful place. Um, and everything was just, I don't know, it's beautiful. It was perfect. We all dressed the part, and that was like my favorite part. So I was very mindful in what I wanted to wear. Now, I won't even tell the people how many outfits I bought trying to get that thing right. But I even gave away some stuff because I was like, oh well, I guess the Chinese people made this. Guess they made this upon order because my arms can't go in this dress. But anyway, um,
She had 3 outfits a day, y'all.
that's
3.
right.
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
3 outfits per event, not a day. Per
That's right.
event. One
Hmm.
for
All
the
one.
team.
Right. Just in case I change my mind because I dress off of how I feel.
Goodness.
But the
Lord.
thing about it, so even for me, like when I go on girls' trips, just say for instance, the one of the pair of earrings that I bought, I said, okay, so then I found another pair, and then I said, ooh, I like these. And for me, I like to share, so I was like, well, just in case I don't wear these, maybe one of the ladies might want to wear these earrings, or so I'm sharing and giving like that. So
Hold on.
even down,
You like share? Because them pink
huh?
fuchsia that you had on with that pink fuchsia outfit, could you share those with me?
You want the bracelet too?
I don't know if the bracelet fit my wrist, but if it can, yeah. Just
Okay, all right.
I mean, you can
share
get some
with
other earrings back too. No,
I'm gonna just buy you some so we can have some alike.
I'm just
I
joking.
just
But
thought I'd throw it out
so so for me, the thought of the queen, I would the tea party was I wanted to do something that was elegant. A lot of things that I when I think about going on trips, I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the people that I'm taking with me. And Erica had asked me a question. When you started doing the tell Vanya nobody's not thinking about her talking about she mad she
there.
didn't get an invite. So Vanya, so
Hey
I
guys.
thought about what kind of experience we could all experience together that none of us have experienced. I thought about so when you first did the invitations for me for my birthday, you asked the question like what kind of theme did you want? So you came up with 50 fabulous. You came up with all those things, and I said, what is the one thing about all of these ladies that I can agree upon? We all have a little bouginess to us. So when I thought about bougie, I went all in for bougie events.
Oh,
Like things that we can experience together and enjoy. So it wasn't just about me. I'm always thinking about me. It was hard for me not to buy y'all a gift, but I knew what Erica was saying. This your birthday. Why you got to be buying other people gifts? So I didn't. I refrained, but
I say that, but then for my birthday, I buy people gifts. So
right,
it goes without saying. Yeah, I say that, but
right.
yeah. My sister said you have longevity with her too, Bestie.
Which best is she talking about?
She's talking about you.
She's talking about you.
The lies.
So everybody knows that my best friend, well, I'm sorry, the family knows that my best friend and my sister and my best friend and my mama got this love relationship.
Because they jealous of me. Because they jealous of me. They jealous because they can't have you all to themselves.
Too
And I don't
funny.
answer their little questions that they always want to ask me all these questions. Girl, get you some business.
Oh, we got Miss Tracy Sanchez. Actually, I went on a girl trip with Miss Tracy Sanchez, and we had a phenomenal time. And she says, "Hey, having the right squad definitely makes a difference." And she is
It
absolutely.
does.
She is a
Right.
sweetheart. My first time meeting Tracy, she was a sweetheart. We met in Puerto Rico. So yes, shout out to Miss Tracy. All right. So go ahead. I think Keisha, you were going to say something based on what Cherie said.
Oh, with the Queen's tea. First and
Yeah,
foremost, I need to apologize to the Queen because I was just in London in January and I was
you did
drinking
all
tea
that
like
wrong.
this.
Yeah.
So next time I know, pull my pinky in.
Yes.
But to her point, like at this point in my life, especially, I don't need a whole lot of turn up. I like to do a little nice, cute, bougie stuff where I
Right.
can listen to some music and still, but I like to do experiences.
Yes.
And
Right.
I would have to say everything was an experience for me. And
Yeah.
it was great. To the spa was an experience. And the Queen tea was definitely experience. I really, really liked it. The tea was really good as well. But
Mm.
just the opportunities to take pictures, they got the Instagram, TikTok rooms and photos. So,
Yes.
I know that's really popular amongst a lot of young people, but, or really just a lot of people, because it's not just young people. But
Yeah.
I definitely thought that the Queen's tea was a really nice experience, a really nice touch to after, brunch, going there later and just being able to have afternoon tea or afternoon
Right.
slash early evening tea. But it was really nice.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you tell people we're going to a tea party, you'll hear a tea party. What are you going to do at a tea party? Drink tea.
And that's exactly what I did. Drink
Yeah,
tea,
drink
ate
tea.
crimpets, and took
That's it.
pictures.
And it's I think what bothers me, especially with these experiences that we had, people will look at it as if, why would you want to do that? Like, we are knocking on 5 door. I don't want to be in nobody club. I don't want to
Right.
be in nobody booze cruise. I don't want to be in nobody turn up spot. Like, I don't want to be in any of those places because that's I'm so grown up past that. I don't want to be in the cigar lounge. I don't want to. Those are not spots that I want to be in. In my
Right.
younger years, definitely that was okay with me. But now that I'm older, I want a more mature experience. And
Right.
not to knock anybody who still chooses to do those things. A lot of times I find, especially unlike Sharice, Lakeisha, and myself, we turned up in our 20s. We
Right.
turned up in our 30s. We
We don't
the
owe the streets nothing, honey.
club they don't owe us nothing because we did all of that. So we're
Right.
not missing that stuff. And I understand, like, a lot of people at this day and age, their kids are grown. They now have grandkids. They never really had an opportunity to get out there like that. So there is still a desire for them to do those types of things. But I could tell you this, the turn up at 50, it ain't not the same thing as the turn up at 20. At 20, you having so much fun because your mind is free. At 40
Right.
and 50, you know what's out there. So you're very
Right.
careful when you do things. You understand what lurks out there in the darkness. You understand the ramification if something goes wrong. At 20, you don't see that. So
Right.
I would charge people to find more mature things to do at this age and still have fun.
Right.
We didn't have a good time. We had a phenomenal time. We
Yeah.
really had a great time. Even to the point, and Lakeisha actually wasn't with us because Lakeisha flew in from Jersey. So we had the road trip driving up there. So we stopped at Buc-ee's. So if anyone knows
Did.
Buc-ee's, I know Buc-ee's, right? Buc-ee's is a convenience store on the highway of 75. I think we might have 3 or 4 of them here in Florida. And we stopped to the one in Georgia. And no, they're probably just 2 here in Florida, but they're getting one in Ocala. And we were in Buc-ee's. How long I'm sorry, Sharice. You know I'm about to call you a nickname. How long were we in there? How
Probably
long were
like
we?
an hour and a half. And then like we found us a brand new candy store at
And
Oh,
y'all got to buy everything in there.
and listen, the whole from going and coming, I spent about $150 in a convenience store.
right.
Literally. In a convenience store. Yes, but it's the experience, and even to the point. So everybody knows that I'm always the encourager, right? So on the drive there, we got a whole social work experience because one of Sharice's friends asked me because she listened to all the questions that I'm asking everybody in the car. Are you a social worker? And I was like, I am not a social worker. I just like to hear people, their growth and what they're doing in life and this, that, and the third, and how to make it better. But that's my personality. It has is I'm not being nosy, I'm just being encouraging because that's just what I do. But each one of these women have their own personality. And even with the card game, y'all remember the card game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if y'all saw the picture
You
on
better
Facebook,
do you an investigation before you go to playing these card games.
y'all saw the tape on the ears with me with the tape on the ears and Cherise and her friend Sophia. Y'all saw the tape on the ears. Listen, that game was a fun game, but what it did was it invoked a certain conversation for us to start a conversation. And what people don't realize, especially women who have children and who have husbands and who have careers, sometimes you're just looking for an out for the moment.
Right.
Sometimes you're
Right.
looking for a time to breathe that you don't have to think about nobody but yourself in the moment. And I mean,
Right.
that card game started at, I don't know what we started at, about 11 or 12. We didn't go to bed till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So
No,
it,
y'all went to bed at 3 o'clock. I'm a part of the old lady gang, and I went to bed about 2.
no,
Now
I
you
you
said,
know,
in the card
I
game.
said, they still in there talking.
at the same time.
Yeah. That was the night before the card game you went to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah, you went to
Oh,
bed
okay.
The
that
night of
night
the card
before.
game, we was all up.
Yeah, we were all up. Only person was I think Sophie went to bed early and Ross went to bed early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was it. Everybody else was still up. But it's one of those things that, having the conversation, being able to kind of lay your hair down. Now, by no means that means come in there and spread all your business. That's not what we're saying. We're saying
Right.
being able to create an environment of conversation that people can ask questions. So, and that's what it did. And it was very enlightening for a lot of people because they got to realize who we really were. Because sometimes there is a perception that people have of you just
Right.
because they have seen you in one entity of your life, like they've seen me at church, and that's the only place they've really seen me. So they don't know me outside of church, right? So if they're seeing me at work, and that's the only place that they've seen me, so they don't know me outside of work. So it was a good experience for us to learn, things about each other, and not only that, to people feel like because you can afford to do certain things in life that you live this picture perfect life.
Right.
Money and perfection is two different things.
Right.
Two totally different things. But people got to see, what, these people aren't perfect. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things that were not so pleasing to God.
Right.
We've all been in spaces where we knew we should have made better choices. So it's one of those things that I feel like this particular card game kind of invoked that conversation to people. And that's one of the good things sometimes about women's groups. It helps people to feel like, what, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only
Right.
one who this type of thing. I'm not the only one who's went through this type of thing, this, that, and the third. We got about 15, 20 minutes. Let's talk about the Airbnb that we stayed at.
It was very nice. One of the nicer Airbnbs I've stayed at in a long, long time. It was
Yes,
Thank
it
very
you.
was.
That makes me so proud.
So she said thank you because she decorated it. Yes, yes. But I would say that was the Airbnb is absolutely beautiful. It was really, really nice, very home feel. I've seen a lot of Airbnbs that people create decor based on what they like. Like they got all these pink rooms and blue rooms and that color. This one was very neutral, and which it should be.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go to your Airbnb and I'm staying in your daughter rainbow bright room. Like I
Or
don't
the
want to.
Mickey Mouse, or in Florida with the Mickey Mouse room and the Disney theme rooms. Get on my nerves.
Yes, 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 and yes. So I'm going to. I don't think I have the link just yet, but I will post it after the fact. After the podcast, I will post a link to this particular Airbnb that we stayed at. The host Michael is a great host. He made sure we had everything that we need. So
Right.
that's very important that you have a great host. Clean towels, clean bathrooms, clean everything. So everything was clean, and that is very, very important to women who
Mhm.
are bougie.
Right.
And we self-identify.
Yes,
Right. That's right. Right,
yes.
Keisha. Right.
So I think I'm always getting asked the question, Erica, you always traveling outside of the country, da da da. So Miss Lakeisha, she made me look like a traveling baby compared to her. So she travels a whole lot more than I do. If people think I travel a lot, no, 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 no. So Miss Lakeisha was in Jamaica, went home for a day, met me in St. Lucia, went home for a day, and then met us in Atlanta. So she should be somewhere asleep somewhere, but she got to
Right.
work.
Taking a nap.
Listen, she got to recoup this money that we done spent on all these vacations.
Exactly.
So she ain't sleeping. But one of the experience we just experienced this year, and Lakeisha and I, we normally travel at least once a year somewhere out of the country together. So we normally meet somewhere out of the country at least once a year. But this year I think it's 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Bali.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got one more coming up. But our last experience it was in St. Lucia. How did you enjoy the St. Lucia experience?
It was absolutely wonderful for me. Like I said, I like to be waited on. We had butler service.
Yes.
We stayed at the Diamond Club in St. Lucia, the Royalton Diamond Club. It was absolutely phenomenal. And the country, the island was beautiful. We didn't get to see a whole lot of it because the day, and that to your point that you made earlier, sometimes things happen. So we
Yes.
went booked some excursions. They messed up our date on our excursion. Then we went to try to go another day, and then they canceled it because it was supposed to rain all day, and it ended up not raining all day. It actually ended up being really sunny. So that was supposed to be the day that we actually go out. We were supposed to go out to see the island, take a catamaran up the coast, and be able to see the Twin Mountains and stuff like that. But we didn't get to do that. But what we did experience made us say, you know what, we probably want to come back one day and do that because the island was really nice. The people were so nice. I mean, this is probably one of the nicest places where just the people at the resorts, like everybody we ran into, everybody we talked to were so nice. We were able to get, have just like real candid conversations with them about, how they live, how it is outside of the resort,
Yes.
things like that, what they were doing. Like some of them, they had other things on the horizon. They had other goals. So we were talking to them about things that they want to do, going to school. And, it was just really good to just connect with people and be able to connect with the natives, even though we weren't able to leave the resort that much because of a lot of the mix-ups that happened with our excursions. But even with that, we still had a great time. And the one restaurant that everybody flocked to, that was the worst restaurant to us. We like the buffet better.
Yes.
But
that's normally not the case.
That's normally not the case.
Yeah.
Like the steakhouse is usually always the best, but it
Yeah,
wasn't this time.
it was not.
But the other restaurants, we still had some really good food, really good drinks, just really great time.
Yeah.
And they even had a nightlife. Now the nightlife was not turn up party nightlife.
No.
It was my kind of nightlife. They had
Yes.
a live band, you got to
Yep.
dance, and you could just go to your room and dance all the way to your room into the bed. So it was
And
really
I like what you said when you said it didn't work out all together. And I've been with people that say, "Oh my God, the restaurant is nasty," and it's like their whole evening is bad because you went to one bad restaurant. Like I'm
Right.
like, do you hold on? Like hold on. This one bad restaurant should not ruin your trip. It
Right.
shouldn't ruin your trip. Like, pipe down. It's plenty other places we can eat. Let's just
Right.
figure out something else. It's just like not that serious. But
Right.
that's also, being around people that has emotional intelligence and can understand that nothing is ever perfect and that
Right.
they can transition easily. And
Right.
that's sometimes that's the hard part. And it's not hard for us because we go places, but it is hard for people who don't really go places because they have this high expectation for what they feel like the island or going out of the country should be. So they have
Right.
this high visual expectation of what things should be. Kind of like when we went to Bali. So we went to Bali just recently. And our expectation, because people talk about Bali so much, we was like, it's a travel nation, da 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 da. It's a very poor country. It's a very poor country. 90% of the country lives in poverty. And if you didn't know that, going into that, I didn't know that. So my expectations was a little bit higher. Not that I was let down. We just make the best of our trips. Like, okay, hey,
Right.
what we doing? We here, what we doing? It's not like we're leaving.
Right.
we ain't
We're
going
here.
nowhere for 10 days.
We period. We right here. So let's make the best of it. And we did. We made the best of it.
I
And
think that's a lot of times people go on girls trips and they look at the person who planned the trip and you said we was doing this and then things go wrong and then they miss out on such maybe an experience or opportunity to experience something that they never experienced because of their expectations. Like, okay, when you go, you have to know something may go wrong. When we got ready to go to the Queens, it started pouring down, storming raining. I said, okay, God, let this pass so we can go where we need to go. And it stopped raining, so, and we were able to go. So sometimes that's what people, they get, then they try to ruin it for everybody because you got that one little person in the bunch that ain't never been nowhere but in a closet. Then you take them somewhere, then they don't know how to act
yeah,
because they can't accept change. You got to
absolutely.
learn how to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, I got to give props to all my cousins on my mom's side because we actually went to Jamaica. And when we got to the resort, they did not have any hot water. And they did
Mm,
not have any hot water for 3 days.
mm.
Oh wow.
We had to take cold showers for 3 days. But I have to say, everybody sucked it up, and we were just like, okay, we about to go down here, like fire to these people at the desk. But we never let it ruin our trip.
Trip. Yeah.
Right.
Ball, we kept doing everything we were supposed to do. We, everything else, it was just like we just gonna make the best of it.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
to your point, Erica, like not having hot water for 3 days,
Oh yeah.
and I was the planner of the trip,
Yeah.
they'd
Yeah.
have been looking at
All
me
the
like
project management
cross-eyed and
skills
like,
came
well,
out.
why you? It was either going to be me or the travel agent, right?
Oh
It
yeah.
was
Oh
going to be
yeah.
our fault, but
Yes.
nobody blamed her.
Okay.
And we let her know, the resort didn't have hot water. And she actually was able to get us some sort of credit to our rooms. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like, why you ain't tell us? She wouldn't know. Nobody
Nope.
knew until we got there.
Yep.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just to your point, things happen.
Yeah.
And you got to just be able to suck it up and say, we just going to have fun anyway.
That's it. That's it. Have fun anyway. So let's talk about this first trip that us three went on. Us three. One, two, three. Us three. So we took a girls trip way before social media was even hot. I don't even know if Facebook was, I don't know if there was a Facebook picture. I mean Facebook was
I
that
think it may have
There was
just
been Facebook, but we just went.
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, we weren't
yeah.
on Facebook then.
Right.
So we took a trip to Chicago to the Taste of Chicago back in 2009. And when I say we had an awesome time, we had an awesome time. We went to see Trey Songz in concert. We didn't stay that long, but we went.
Because it was
We
hot.
listen. It was hot. It was Chicago, and all they people. And I don't trust Chicago people in a whole bunch of crowd, girl. No, but we went. We went. We went shopping. We took a cab to the hood of Chicago and catch the bus back to our hotel to downtown Chicago because no cabs come out in the hood. I was like, well, you brought us out here. You ain't gonna come pick us up. He was like, like, y'all got to get on that bus right now. They'll tell you what bus to get on.
Right.
So could you imagine us in Chicago 2009 riding the city bus? I'm talking about this. That was the funniest bus ride that I have ever seen. If there was a picture of mental illness ever, it was on that goddamn bus.
See, now
Right.
that was when I was okay and y'all were uncomfortable because I was
Right.
from the
Oh yeah,
city.
you
So
from
I
the
had
city.
rode
Oh
the
yeah,
city
she
bus
from the
before,
city. Yeah.
and I done seen all the mental illness on the bus.
Listen,
So I already knew.
listen.
But their faces was priceless.
Oh yes. It's absolutely crazy.
And you know
Um,
Erica gonna hustle everywhere she go. We get in the cab. She said, "Hey, so how much can we get off of this cab because you got a hose for an air conditioner? Stick it back in this plexiglass window." While I was screaming.
listen, don't be telling my vacation secret. Everybody knows that I'm gonna get the discount. Listen, who it is, I can get the discount. I promise you, I'm gonna get some form of discount. We gonna get something. I don't care if it's we gonna get something off. Yeah. But it was a fun experience, And I think for me myself, I really like seeing the different cultures of people.
Right.
Like the places like Chicago, it's a different culture than it is here in Florida. Going to St. Lucia is definitely a different culture. In Bali, learning how they speak and understanding that. And I felt real dumb when I asked the guy, well, what language do you speak in Bali? He was like, English. I was like, oh. See, when I go places, sometimes they will make you feel like a dumb American because sometimes us Americans, we think because we're only seeing the vision of who they are from television. We're
Right.
not experiencing them hands-on. So when you start to experience people hands-on, it's different. It's different.
Right.
Lakeisha, tell us an experience that you experienced a culture head-on that either you felt real stupid or you was like, wow, I really learned something.
I think it probably would be the first time we went to France.
Okay.
Okay. There were some things that I thought were myths that were so like they actually do have French fries in France, and we would always was told that was an American thing, and it was like, oh, we do French fries too.
Yes.
And I think the biggest shock for me though was that in France they have wine with their restaurants close at like 1 o'clock. And we were starving and they don't open back up until 7.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do for food? So that was a big lesson learned for me because I literally was really hungry because I didn't really eat much for breakfast because I'm thinking, oh, we'll just eat lunch. Mm-hmm. And we go out for lunch. It ain't no lunch. Everything is closed and nothing was open. And mind you, we weren't even in Paris. We were on the countryside of France. We were in Marseille. Mm-hmm. So they really were culturally different from us.
Yeah.
That they buy bread every day. They do not buy bread and keep it in their house for a week. There's bakeries all over the place. And that was a big cultural aha for me. Why probably the French are so small and they don't have a lot of weight problems. At least we didn't see a lot of overweight people there when we were there, because their food is fresh.
Yes.
They buy their stuff fresh every day, and they don't eat all day.
No.
They eat in the morning, and then you ain't eating nothing unless you brought it with you until 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the restaurant actually opens between 6:30 and 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And now I'm like, okay, when I've gone there twice after that, but I'm like, okay, what time we gonna get there? Do I need to bring a hoagie or something? Like, I had food when we went to, I said, hey, we need to get a hoagie or something, because we don't know what time the restaurant's open.
Yes.
We might need to get a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
So I literally will bring food with me if I know that, okay, I'm not, it's, because of the time change, I'm not going to be hungry when I go. But when I get there and I land, I've been traveling for 12 hours. I'm going to be hungry when I get there. And there's no food. So that was probably one of the biggest ahas for me. And we were sitting there drinking wine and eating nuts until the restaurants open.
Yes. And yes. I think one of the experiences for me also on that French trip, we were on the metro, which is their train system, right? So we're on their train system, and one of the young ladies that is with us, she says, why is everyone staring at us? Are they staring at us because we're black? Like that. And I can't remember who said it. So I started looking around. I was like, they're staring at us because we're the only ones talking. Because no one else on the train was talking but us. And it's one of those, it's back to the culture thing. When you don't understand the culture, Americans just act, we act all willy-nilly everywhere we go. So it's just, and especially, you know how the rest of America talk about Floridians, especially us Floridians,
Right.
we just whatever,
Right.
But I think those experiences as a whole really help to shape you when you are moving about and being in other countries, getting to know the culture of the thing. I'm trying to think, what was the place that we were going and you couldn't chew gum in public? Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore. So you can't chew gum in public. So you can't even actually eat outside of an eating area in Singapore. Like, how we walking and eating and walking and eat? No. Not in Singapore. And I understand, because their streets are clean. Like, there is nothing in the street. There is no debris in the streets whatsoever. So I understand they want to keep their streets clean. Don't eat in the restaurant, or don't eat it all.
Right.
That's it. So it's, learning the different cultures of the experience itself. And like I said, I am going to post the link to the Airbnb on my Facebook page. If anybody is interested in booking an Airbnb in Atlanta, I will post the link. And the host, his name is Michael, so I will post that. Go ahead.
Go ahead and tell the people about the little prank y'all played on me before.
All right, before we log off, Jesus Christ. So we're riding in multiple cars. Like, we have 2 different cars that we're riding in. And we had so much food at the Airbnb. We were supposed to buy food for the evening, for our evening event that we were having at the house. But I was like, everybody kind of agreed that we had so much food left over. Let's not go buy more food, because we still got a lot of food from all these different restaurants that we've been to. So everybody had food except for Lakeisha. So we're going to take Lakeisha to go get her some food. So we get halfway to the house and realize, okay, there's nothing near the house that we can actually go that she possibly wanted. So we had to go back downtown to get some food. So we go downtown, get her some food, and we're heading back. So I mentioned in the car, when we were driving, before we turned back around, we should have went and got some crabs or something like that. So I mentioned that in the car. I don't think you know that part. So of course, Sophie, she down for it, because Sophie want to eat some crabs. And I was like, dang, I wonder where can we go get some. and just kind of like bring them back to the house. That was it. We ain't thought no more about the crafts. We went and got Keisha her food. Now we driving back. So we driving back. Sophie said, stop her by the convenience store. But before we stop her to the convenience store, Sophie says, this Sharice calling now. So I said, okay. We didn't really even realize what Sophie was getting ready to say. None of us heard that. Did we? Did we know what she was getting ready to say?
Yeah, she said we gonna tell her we got
She
crabs.
did. Okay, she did. She said we gonna tell her we got crabs. But what Sophie did was tell her that we got crabs and we sitting down at the restaurant eating crabs. Let me call you back because the waitress just came back and hung up. I said, oh my God. I said, listen, let me tell you something. She pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Like, no, she ain't. You think so? Like,
I knew you.
She was like, okay.
Yeah.
When she said okay and hung up, I said,
oh my goodness. I was like, oh, she's
probably like, oh, they couldn't call me for no
Right.
crabs. To the highest of festivity. So
And here go the hostess. We could get you some crabs if you want some crabs. I said, I said no. No. Oh, they know. I said, oh, they know better. They know better. So as soon as Erica, go ahead and finish, Erica, tell them.
We drive up to the house. When I say ADHD is real, we ain't even thought about it no more.
Forgot.
We forgot about, we just told her we were sitting in a restaurant eating crabs. So we pull up to the house, and one of the young ladies is putting her luggage in the car. So I was like, well, dang, why is she putting her luggage in the car?
And looking very upset, mind you.
Yes, she was very upset. Now, this is another one of the ladies that was with us. So we're looking like, dang, she putting her luggage in the car. That's strange. But still, it didn't register to us whatsoever. We walk in the house, and one of the young ladies is rinsing off some lettuce. And I was like, what are you boiling over there on the pot? And she said it real short, eggs. And I was like, I ain't even thinking about it. It's so far out of my mind. I promise you, I didn't even think about it. So then they said, well, where is Sharice? And then somebody said, she in the bed. And I was like, in the bed? What? It's time outside. Why is she in the bed? And oh my God, it clicked. Them goddamn crabs. So this is bad. This is bad when your mind ain't clicking like that. But it's bad when you got 4 people in the car and ain't nobody even thinking about that no more. We just said what we said and we ain't even thinking about it anymore. So she gets out the bed, and the first thing she said was, how did Erica let this happen? Like, we weren't going to get no crabs without you. How did this happen? How did Erica let this happen? I was like, oh Lord. So we told her we was going to get crabs. We was eating without her. So she
wait. Did you ever send her the long text that you started?
No, she did not.
So,
she said she deleted it.
I'm laying in the bed. I'm texting y'all. Oh, y'all some nasty mofos. I'm just texting. I'm on my phone. I got this hard. Like I got already 3 sentences already in, and then I heard Erica walk through the door. Then I got out the bed. That's why I said, "Oh, how you go?" I said, "Now Erica know better. Out of everybody that was in that car, she know better." So my friend that they saw outside putting her luggage was so hurt that I was mad and hurt and disappointed that y'all, even though it was a joke, she was about to go home because she couldn't stand for me to see me mad. And so what y'all don't know was somebody said, "Oh, so I guess your birthday supposed to be over. So your birthday over because they going to get some crap."
Listen.
That's how you know when your people love you and they don't want you to be mad, because baby, they was on the defense. And one was saying, "Oh, we can just take down these balloons and this old happy birthday sign, and we can just clean and pack up all this stuff and we can just go."
Yes. That's what I'm telling y'all. All petty ain't good petty. All petty. Listen, we petty for the moment, right? But it's those things that let you know nothing goes off just completely perfect. Like
Right.
nothing. And if you live your life with this high expectation of perfection, you are going to be miserable.
Right.
When you're looking at every situation that you go into, if it ain't perfect, it ain't right, you're going to be miserable. I don't care if it's a relationship, you're going to be miserable. If you're looking for perfection, you're going to be miserable. A friendship, every last one of these, as a matter of fact, I have not had a family member on my podcast or friend that we ain't had a disagreement. We ain't
Right.
got mad at each other. We ain't been
Right.
disappointed in each other. You're going to have those disappointments, but it doesn't stop life. Like
Right.
it's not the end of the world when you have a disagreement with someone. I always feel like this way. If I disagree with you and we're no longer friends, we were never friends.
Right.
Like we were never, that was never a friendship there. That was somebody just holding on to whatever they felt like they can get from me. Because if you can leave just that quick, then we weren't friends. So
Right.
sometimes you have to reevaluate the people in your life and reevaluate the circumstances in your life to see, is this one that is good for me? Is this space a good for me? Is this friendship healthy for me? So when you're looking at it, and even if it's a relationship, is it healthy for me? People come with all their toxic energy sometimes. Is that healthy for you? If it's not, if you are just as toxic as they are, then y'all probably a match made in toxic heaven.
Right.
But if that's
But I
not
think
working for you, then you got to reevaluate that. Go ahead.
right. I was telling a young lady today that I was interviewing. I said, "Let me tell you something." She was like, "Oh, you don't look like you have a daughter." I said, "Because her birthday is the same year as my oldest daughter's birthday." And I said, "I have a daughter that's going to be your age in a couple of months." And she was like, "You don't even look like you have a daughter that's almost 31." I said, "Yeah, I do." And so, um, I was just telling her, I had so we were just talking. And I don't know how we got on this subject, but I use those opportunities and platforms to encourage women, right? And so I was telling her, I said, one of the things that I noticed about the girls' trip that I went on is every woman that I surround myself with has something. Even my friends that did not go on the girls' trip, I surround myself with women that have something going on for themselves that is positive. And I think that is the key. That's how I was able to bounce back, and not my old 20-year-old self would have made that, told this whole girl trip up mad and going off and went totally off the handle about something that was just a joke, right? But I surround myself around people of likeness, right? So we can bounce back from those things. And now today it's 2 weeks later and we laughing about it. But I just feel like that is one of the keys of finding true friendship, and in a way for you to uh, go and experience, whether it's good or bad, leaving the country or in the country, wherever, if it's going to Miami or going to a beach trip, having things in common with women that are mature enough to handle things may just go wrong. What do we do from here? How do we move forward from this mishap? And sometimes people carry stuff and will even silence on a girl's trip speaks volume, because if you get that one friend that sit back and she mad for real, and that's your friend that you bought, she mad because she done silently told you why she mad, but she's making it uncomfortable for other people because of her own agenda. So check their agenda and why they want to go too, because sometimes people don't want to just go just to have a good time. They want to go because they have an agenda, because they want to see how you move. So I surround myself around women that have a kin spirit like me. So we all had the same common goal. We are going to have a good time. Period.
I do want to add one more thing to it, because we people always making the misconception that, oh, you can't hang around your single friends. All right. So
Right.
half of us were married and half of us were single. on this trip.
Right. Right.
And with that being said, if your friends respect your marriage, they would never put you in a situation where you
Right.
are respecting your spouse.
Right.
Not ever. Now, if you do
Right.
that on your own, they ain't got nothing to do with her. But
Right.
a friend who respects your marriage, they would never put you in that situation.
Right.
They would be more steadfast of making sure that you're good because of your marriage. So I think that's that, and I'm not saying that's not the case in some cases. Some cases it is, but I think we have matured past that. We are
Right.
at the age that because everyone that was on the trip, I think outside of one person, we've all been married.
Mhm.
Right.
So we understand the value of marriage and respecting the union of marriage. Even
Right.
having a minister on the trip with us, just respecting the fact of she's a minister. Period.
Right.
The minister got to lay her hair down as well. So she was able to be herself, and not feel like she was judged by the judge and jury of the church. So she was able
Right.
to be herself. But it's a matter of once your friends respect your relationship, no matter where your relationship is, it don't even matter. Sometimes people would say, well, I know such going through this, that, and the third. No, 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 no. Respecting marriage, period. So
Right.
it's about being around people who respect marriage, period. And we respect their husbands as well. So just being around people who respect marriage, hang around single people, that's nothing. That's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that
Yeah.
because most of my friends actually are married.
Yeah.
I have very minimal single friends,
Yeah.
and being around them, me being divorced or whatever, they treat me like the same when I was married, the same before I got married, and the same after being married and being single now. But because I respect their relationships and their marriages as well. So definitely agree on that point. And the other point too is the one thing that I thought about that we didn't hit on that is always a point of contention
Mhm.
and a lot of girls' trips is money.
Right.
And that's usually what causes the all out drag out fights.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
But
Yeah.
that's one of the things to Sharice's point earlier when you're selecting your group of people who you can travel with.
Yeah.
People who are like minded, who
Mhm.
have like pockets, who can afford to do the things that you like to do. There
Right.
are times where I will go and do lower level trips because I want, this person wants to go and I want to go. I have a friend who she actually does that. She used to be a travel agent years ago, and she'll tell you, I ain't no travel agent. But she puts together trips because she likes to try to get people to go out of the country and experience other things. So
Yeah.
she'll say, listen, this ain't going to be no 5-star trip. This going to be a 3-star trip, but
Yeah.
it's going to be affordable. And, you ain't going to certain countries for $500 or $600 round trip,
Yeah.
including hotel.
Mhm.
Right.
It's unheard of. But she will search and search and search until she gets like this phenomenal deal.
Yeah.
And you're going on Delta Airlines. You're not going on like the rinky dink airline, but
Yeah.
you might stay in a 3-star hotel.
Yeah.
You got to know that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go on this trip because I'm just going for the experience.
Yeah.
Right.
I ain't going to be in a hotel anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
things like that. So you have to find what's in your budget, figure out your budget if you really want to go. I think it's doable for anybody, but you
Yeah.
got to be
Right.
realistic about
Yeah.
everybody can't go 5-star, everybody can't do,
Yeah.
big baller. Figure out what you can do and
Yeah.
do what's
Right.
within your budget and still have that wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Right. I think
Absolutely.
that, yeah, and that was the one thing we didn't have. I didn't have not one person say, "Well, dog, we got to spend all this money and we just going to Atlanta," because that's sometimes people have that low that mindset of, "Oh, we paying this much for just for that." type of mentality, everybody was willing to give. And also, if you want to experience a girls trip and you don't know how to do that, like we said, you go, you look up stuff, and then you create this budget of, okay, this is what. So when you go to your friends to present, this is what I want to do. This is a ballpark, because that's what we did. The second text message of our group was like, hey, this is probably what this girl trip is gonna cost us. And Erica had some things that she was responsible for getting money for, and I had money for things that I was getting money for, and we cashed up each other and got it done. And it didn't take, we put limitations. Okay, we need to have this paid for by June. This right here needs to be paid for by this deadline. So that way, when you start planning early, you'll know who start dropping off at the end because they money not right, and you
Yeah.
don't feel no type of way,
No.
because sometimes people may want to go, but they just cannot afford to go. So I just want to add that.
That's very understandable, and I think that's just a mature way of understanding. Everybody can't do everything all the time. So
Right.
and I think Keisha, when she tapped on the whole money thing, Keisha and I have been on a trip where there was an experience of someone not having money, and it was no one that we knew actually, but they were a part of the trip, and it was sometimes it's more of a disappointment within the person. Like, I can't afford to do all the things that everyone else is doing, and it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that you have to know what you can afford before you go on a trip,
Right.
and not have expectation that someone is going to put the bill for you, because they're
Right.
not. No one is going to foot the bill for you when you go somewhere. You got to have your own stuff.
Right.
And I get it. Some people have just been operating like that for a long time in life, but we grown now. Like, we grown.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we're no kids. So be able to afford the things that you want to do on your trip. That's
Right.
very, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. Any last words for the people? This has been great.
I would just say, traveling is like my biggest outlet, because everybody know I work hard, so I play real hard. Probably too hard sometimes. Uh,
It's okay.
I love traveling, and I love to do it with if I'm married in a relationship, I love to do it with my partner, or I love to do it with my girls, because I have had some wonderful girls trip experiences. I have met some wonderful people on those girls trips. I Traveling has reconnected me with people in life that I had lost touch with, and we've met up and went on a trip together, and now we like bosom buddies, keep going on trips together. And I've invited my cousin Erica and several others on certain trips with some of my friends who are either travel agents, or they host trips. But it's always a wonderful experience to experience other cultures outside of the US. It's what we see and what we hear in the news and things like that. So much of that is so much fake news.
Yes.
I mean, it is so fake. But because when you get there, you're like, they said, what about these people? These people are great.
Yeah.
This place is wonderful.
Yes.
And you'll start to see, like, there actually are other places in this world that you actually can live in and be even safer than you are in the US, and have a
Right.
better quality of life. I'm not saying that I'm ready to move yet, but I'm just saying, like,
It's in the back of your mind.
it's back there, because we got these elections coming up, so it's back there. But there are other
2025.
places. God has made a beautiful world, and I encourage people to see as much of it as you can before you pushing up flowers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You have any last words for the people, Miss Sharice?
Um, no, I just really want, like Keisha just said, I just want to touch on what she said. Like, life is worth living. And I feel as though, even if that is anything that you desire can you can achieve. You know, even if it's not a girls trip, if you want to do things like I was telling the young lady today, I actually took myself before we got ready to leave the day before. I was hungry. I sat down and I ate in a restaurant by myself, and I like me, so we enjoyed each other.
I know that's right.
That one.
So I mean, but that was me stepping outside of my box because you'll see people like, oh, what's she sitting over there eating by herself? A stranger might come up with it, or somebody who knows me might come up with their own conclusion of why. Well, I didn't feel like sitting in my car eating or driving through the drive-through. I just wanted to pick up something really quick. I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna eat my food and enjoy me for this moment before I go and party with my friends. So look at things that are small things that are obtainable for you and dream big.
Yes.
Dream bigger than where you are.
Yes. Yes. And yes. I would say traveling is my uh when they say, Erica, what you want to be when you grow up, on a plane. So that's what I want to be when I grow up, on a plane. Going somewhere. So
Right,
I love traveling. I love culture. I love meeting different cultures and people. I love learning about different cultures. That is my go-to no matter where I go. I don't care if it's I'm going to Nashville, which we're gonna reschedule that trip. But we had to cancel that trip, but we're gonna reschedule that one. But if it's going to California, if it's going to Chicago, wherever it is, I want to know the culture of the city. So that is my go-to in life. Everybody has something different. Some people
right,
it's something totally different. That's just for me. So
right,
I just encourage you, whatever makes your, as I tell my nieces and nephew, whatever makes your baby leap inside of you. That
right,
baby that's leaping, go after that thing. Yes.
right,
So we're going to end tonight, you all. We are definitely over, but y'all know how women get together. You know what happens when you have a girls trip? They keep talking.
right,
So we're
right.
going to we going to end. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Tracy, Lavanya, Cliff. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your comments, and we'll see you next month.